Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, I'm going to be profiling for you my Cyber Dragon deck. Now, I played this at the YCS 200th this past week. Weekend. I don't know when this video is going to necessarily go up, but I played it at the 200th in Columbus, Ohio. Had a lot of fun. It was awesome to meet you guys, and again, thank you Konami for creating that creative content area. I'm very happy about that. So we're going to go, it's pretty much a tournament report. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I played 8 rounds. There was 9 rounds before Top Cut. I just played 8 rounds because I was not going to top. But I had a lot of fun. And there's a couple changes I would make to the deck going forward. We'll talk about those. This deck is a Cyber Dragon Sky Striker build, but let's talk about my matchups first off. So at my first game, I was playing against Mermails. And that was an interesting matchup. One thing I should mention about the YCS I found out fairly quickly was 2 things. Number one, there was a lot of rogue, and I mean a lot of rogue. The entire day, I did not run into a single Goki game. I did not run into a single pure Sky Striker. Granted, those are the top decks that topped, but I ran into so much rogue, it was like unbelievable. I couldn't believe how much rogue I ran in, and my side deck was predicated to going against the meta. I did have a couple of rogue things because from past experience, I usually knew when there's an undefined meta, because the ban list had just come out recently at that time, that you're going to run into some rogue, but I just wasn't expecting to run into full-blown rogue to some degree. So my first game, I won game 1 against Mermails. He did fairly well. He thought I was playing Sky Strikers, and then he saw the Cyber Dragons come out, and he's like, oh my gosh, I misplayed. Because he thought he was playing as if he was going against Sky Strikers, but he ran into Cyber Dragons. Game 2, he won. He pretty much Gumblar'd me, and I top-decked Engage. I had 2,000 life left, I think 1,000 life left. After he had gone off, he went Tomahawk, Gumblar, all that crazy stuff. And pretty much what happened was I top-decked Engage. I had 3 spells, got the extra draw. He didn't have Ash. He had taken that out. And I almost won. I almost won. But he drew it. He top-decked Undyne. He top-decked something, I forget what it was, but he won. Game 2, I completely bricked. I drew into 3 Cyber Dragons. And some other cards like evenly matched and something else I forget, but it was just a complete brick. I couldn't have done anything. Game 2 was, oh my gosh, Invoke. Invoke was everywhere. So like I said, the first thing I took away, there was a lot of rogue. Number 2 I took away was Invoke was everywhere because it was such a cheap, good deck for the YCS. It was everywhere, and I ran into Invoke. But this Invoke player was a very nice guy, very cool guy, but like we didn't even get to game 3. So let's talk about this. So game 1, I solidly won. I just OTK'd him out the wazoo and just won. Game 2, we had 20 minutes left on the clock. And this is the story of my life, I swear. Okay, I took no damage at all that entire game. I did 25 damage. I did a whole bunch of damage. Put him down to 34,000 life points. But what he had done, and I did not know this yet, he had taken, I thought he was changing his engine because he was running Invoke, but he took 15 cards out of his main deck and put 15 cards out of his main deck and put 15 cards from his extra deck into his main deck. We had 20 minutes left on the clock. I was like, I can probably easily win this or go into game 3 and win that very quickly. Scoop and then go. But he decided to stall out for a tie. I ran into the Mirror Force Trap card, and then I proceeded to run. I was not expecting that in Invoke, but I ran into that. Then I ran into all this in a row. Threatening Roar. I ran into Battle Fader twice, Swift Scarecrow twice, and Swords of freaking Revealing Light. What world did I win? And we tied. I didn't even get a chance to go to game 3. That was my one tie because I went 3-4-1. Okay, game 2, I win. Match 3, I won. I was playing against Invoke. That was an easy 2-0 against that. Very, very good game. Game 4, I lost to Dinosaurs. That was everywhere at the YCS. I can't, in like Rogue. Was not expect. I knew it was a good deck. I just wasn't expecting it. And I ran into that a lot. I did have my Ogres to stop Lost Worlds, but that wasn't enough. So after that, I had lost 3. I had lost 3, and I decided to drop out for my game. What was it? 1, 2, 3. I think this is game 5 here. I'm reading that. I didn't put the number next to it. I'm looking at my match slips right here. I dropped out that game. I took the game loss because I was not going to get the top cut, but I still want to play later on. So I got some tokens made, hung out, met Team Samurai, had some fun. Went back, won the next 2 games. So the next game I won, I faced, what was this? True Draco. I won that game. He kept saying, he's like, I wish I had Masterpiece. But I won that. I 2-0'd that. And the last matchup was very interesting for the day. I didn't go to round 9 because I wanted to hang out with my buddies that were there from Richmond, Virginia, and just hang out with people. But I won against Relinquish. That was a fun matchup and the only reason I won that was because I knew the deck. It was Kaiju Relinquish. So you know, me building that deck before, I knew exactly. I was literally in his mind because I knew exactly what he was going to do. Game 1, I won. Game 2, he won. In game 3, he was running a hybrid of, what was it? Invoke Relinquished Kaijus, and very cool guy. But that game I knew I was gonna have to bait out the Makaba so I could win. So I baited out the Makaba. And then I OTK'd him because this card right here is not once per turn. So Cyber Reverse, Rev System is not once per turn. So I baited out the Makaba, sucked it up, and then just went Rev System, Rev System, Rev System, Rev System twice, and I OTK'd. So let's get to the deck profile. I do apologize that took 7 minutes, but you guys wanted to see the tournament report. So, yeah. Next, 3 Cyber Dragons. So we're on 3 Cyber Dragon. It's very simple. We'll put a timestamp so you can get to this point in the video if you wanted to. But 3 Cyber Dragon, staple in the deck. You guys should know what it does. Next, we run 3 Core. Searchable. You can search out your Rev System, your Cyberus Emergency I usually search out, or my Rev System. I usually search out with this. Sometimes I search out the Cyber Dragon straight up. When I was facing the Mermail player, he had the reason I was able to get out of his U board, because he made a U board, is I went this, and then I just normal summoned, didn't activate its effect, went into Mega Fleet and cracked his board. I really would say that you should run the original Chimera Tech card that pretty much sucks up all the machines and goes for it that way, because that would have helped me out, especially against Makabas, so much, because I kept running into like random stuff. Next up, I ran 3 Cyber Hertz. I mainly use Cyber Hertz to go for rank 5s. One thing I will mention is I only played with this deck for about 3 days before the YCS. Previously, I had played Cyber Dragon, so I did have experience with it, but I had played the Power Bond builds. This is more of a going second, strictly crack the board build to win. It's not a full-on OTK power board, OTK like version of Cyber Dragons using Power Bond. This is a version that pretty much cracks your opponent's board and does that. So if you are trying to use any of the new Cyber Dragon stuff, you may want to use the new Fusion, but for the most part, you're going to run this deck exactly the same way. So yeah, 3 Hertz. 3 Galaxy Soldier. This helped me make Infinity and bait out Ash and things of that nature. Did not run into Drill and Lock all day. I ran into Ash mainly. So yeah, I did run into Drill against the True Draco player, but that was game 1. But yeah, it didn't hurt me at all. But Ash was a way to bait this out. And then I would like go Rev System and then bring out something else and then go for Infinity and then do boards. I kept making Infinity all day. Next we run 3 Ash Blossoms. I main deck this because this hurts all the decks. I kept my Effect Failers. I kept my Ogres in the side deck and my Ghost Bells in the side deck, and I would take the Ashes out and decide for what I needed. I did have Drill I didn't run Drill in the side deck because Drill never did enough for me. It just never did. So, but Ash did enough. So I ran 3 Ash. Next up, we ran 3 Cyber Emergency. This searched out just about anything you needed. No one ashed it all day because of the effect. They were afraid I was going to add it back. So nobody ashed this card all day. I activated it and just no one would ash it. I was like daring people to ash it, I swear. I was like, cool, this, search, go off. And they're like, no ash, no ash. So yeah, that was cool. It was nice to have a card not being ashed as a searcher all day. Rev System, 3 of. I originally was running this at 2 of. I love it at 3 of. I'm so happy I did that. It won me games straight up. The fact that it's not once per turn is amazing. Helps you go for infinity easier. Helps you to do just great boards easier. Works with Hertz. Just a great, great card. You run this at a 2 of or 3 of. I ran it at 3 of and I loved it. So that's just my opinion on the card. Very good card. I'm not going to go into depth in the deck profile because, yep. Next we run 3 Machine Dupe. This card, you want to see it early so you can use it with either your core or you want to use it with your Cyber Dragon Hers. So you can go for infinity plays, OTK boards. Sometimes you just are able to like normal summon a core, Machine Dupe. You go summon it into Mega Fleet and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 damage sometimes. So that can win you games or put enough damage on board, or to finish the game off. So the deck can OTK out of nowhere. It just doesn't go OTK. It's not like an OTK board. It's like an FTK kind of, where it just you grind, then you just make a big push and then you win that way. That's how the deck functions a lot. The deck, even when going first, it was fine because I would go for Cyber Dragon Infinity. But if I was going second, I would try to put a lot of I would try to crack their board, then go for a lot of pressure on my turn 2. So that's how I worked with the deck. It worked fairly well. 1 Overload Fusion because it's great. I did make Chimera Tech. I drew this twice and I made Chimera Tech. That was pretty good. Used this a couple of times. It was okay. I was originally thinking about bumping this up to 2 of. After playing with it, I would only want 1 of it. It's a good card, but you don't want to see it all the time. Rev System put in more work for me. So yeah, I like the card though, but we have Cyber Emergency, and that's much better than that card now. 3 Engage. This is the reason I chose the deck, because I can play my favorite deck, Sky Strikers with Cyber Dragons, and I just thought that was awesome. Engage is great in the deck. You have a lot of spells. Rev System is an easy card to set up because it's multiple times. You can just do stupid things. You can get a bunch of Rev Systems in grade and maybe another spell, and then you just use mobilization. You just go off from there. But the main things I was searching out for my Sky Striker engine was I was searching out Jamming Waves, Afterburner, and Hornet. The reason you ran this is because Afterburner could help you break boards. Jamming Waves got around back row. Hornet, drones, you know what it does. Search Kagari, all your different things. Usually I would be able to search these out because this was kind of like having, how can I say this, like having Twin Twisters in my deck. Or a back row destruction in my deck, because I could be like, okay, you have that back row there. Okay, I'm going to Jamming Waves it. And then maybe if I have 3 in grave, I get to destroy a monster. Or, I'm going to destroy the monster, and if I have 3 in grave, I'll destroy your back row as well. That way I can push for enough damage to win this turn. And drones is drones. You know what it does. It makes you tokens, makes Kagari, and all that stuff. And Engage is Engage. Great top deck of a card. Your last spell that I run is 1 Monster Reborn. Great card. You run it even if you have Rev System. Just good card. My traps, I ran 3 Evenly Matched. This is something that I liked in theory, and then in practice I liked it as well, but I need to play test it with it more. It's a good card though. If you're going first, I usually took the Evenly Matches out, game 2. If I was going second, I would definitely keep the Evenly Matches in. And it worked out for me, and I enjoyed it. Next up, the last traps I ran were 2 Cybernetic Overload. Great card in the deck. It helped me crack boards, break boards, destroy things. If they made me go first, I would have like a core on the field. I would have core on the field. Sometimes just leave it alone, set this, and then they would go off, and I'd be like, okay, blow, 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 blow up, then go for a whole bunch of damage and win that way. Very, 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 very good card. Very good card. Underrated card. Just such a good card. Really. My side deck, we'll go to my side deck quickly. 3 Ogre, it was definitely good. 2 Ghost Spell, I only have 2 for the Goki and all those weird matchups. 2 Effect Veiler. 3 Rivalry, because everything I run is machines, including the Sky Striker. This came up. You could run Gozen Match, but I took that out last minute for a 3 red reboot because I thought I was going to be facing Paleo and Altergeist a lot more. Didn't face Altergeist all day. That card, I never sided this in. I would have against the Invoke player who was playing freaking Stormy Mirror Force, but never got a chance to do that in Game 3. And then 2 D-Barrier because I was having a feeling I was going to face Rogue, and this just helps against Rogue decks. And it did come up for a lot of wins against Relinquish, against Invoke, and things of that nature. I've definitely side-decked this card in, and it came in handy a bunch of times. Extra deck, we ran my little waifu thing, my Dark Magician waifu Field Center. We also ran my Sky Striker token. But let's get to the rest of the cards. We ran the Cyber Dragon Zwei. I can't pronounce Ziger. Excuse me, Ziger. Good card, definitely a one-of staple. The Nightmare Engine, I ran this. This was to help pop back row, so I could go for OTKs easily. Griffin was helpful as well. Like I said, the one card I would put in the extra deck was the Chimera Tech that circs up all machines on the field. That would have been really helpful in some of my rogue matchups. Definitely try to fit that in somewheres. Summon Sorceress, made that a couple times. Kagari, I made that all day. Hayate, I made once. Double Kagari, excuse me. Double. One Shizuku, I made that about twice. For the Cybers Infinity, I made Infinity like every game or every other game. Just about. Great card. Mega Fleet I went into about every day, every minute of every hour. And you definitely got to run 2 Mega Fleet because you will easily make 2 Mega Fleet and the 1 Chimera Tech because sometimes you make that with Overload Fusion, and that did happen. I made that twice as well. So very standard. I'm sorry that's not as detailed. It's just when I know a deck so thoroughly, it's kind of hard to explain it a little bit. But well, not that, but it's just. The deck speaks for itself. It functioned well. It's a standard Cyber Dragon deck with Sky Strikers in it. The Cyber Dragons help OTK. The Sky Strikers in a nutshell help blow up back row, set up boards. When you play the deck, you want to grind a little bit. Don't think Power Bond OTK. I was thinking that fairly on when I was first playtesting the deck. It's not how this version of the deck works. There are 2 versions, and I'll say it again. You have the Power Bond, and you have this, which is this version of the deck is to help crack boards, grind out a little bit, and then you make a big push. That's how the deck functions, and it worked fairly well. Hope you enjoyed that tournament report. Apologize if it was very bland, but it took a little bit long for me to go over my matchups. But I had a great time at the YCS. I wasn't expecting to win or anything, but I had a lot of fun. And like I said, I didn't have a lot of experience with the deck at first, but now I feel like I've mastered the deck to some degree. I'm still learning it though, and it's been fun. I love this deck. This is probably going to be my deck that I play this format a lot of because I just thoroughly enjoy it. And until next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see you all next time.